Welcome to the deep dive. We take complex information, break it down, and give you the core insights. Think of us as your personal guides to getting up to speed quickly. Today, we're doing something a bit different. You've brought us this comprehensive exam paper on ICT ethics and cyber law. So I thought, let's treat this like a focused tutoring session, right? Go through it together. We'll dig into the key concepts, look at what they mean in the real world, and make sure you really get the foundations of staying safe and, responsible online.
Let's go through your ICT ethics and cyber law exam paper together. We'll review each section and make sure you understand everything.
Exactly. Think of this as our deep dive into the absolute basics of digital ethics and security. We'll use this paper as a guide, unpack the fundamental ideas, and make sure you see not just the definitions, but why they actually matter day to day.
Perfect. Okay, so let's dive into Group A, the short answer questions. Sounds like foundational stuff first.
That's right. Group A really lays the groundwork with definitions. The first question is key. What are the differences between ethics and law? Okay, yeah, that feels pretty fundamental. Ethics and law, they sound similar, but different.
They are. So ethics, those are moral principles. They guide how you should behave based on ideas of right and wrong. They're often subjective, personal, and you enforce them on yourself. Laws, on the other hand, are actual rules set by society, governments. They're objective, legally binding, and institutions enforce them. There are real consequences if you break a law.
Okay. So ethics is like your internal compass, what you feel is right. Law is the external rule book everyone has to follow. Makes sense.
Precisely. One's internal, the other's external. Okay, question 2. Name 2 ethical issues relevant for IT users. The paper highlights key privacy and anonymity issues and social networking ethical issues.
Privacy and social networking, yeah, those feel huge today. Why are they singled out for IT users specifically?
Well, because as IT users, we're constantly creating and sharing data, right? Every click, every post. So privacy, who sees that data, how it's used, becomes a massive ethical concern. And anonymity ties into that. Should you be anonymous online? When? Social networking then adds another layer. Think about cyberbullying, misinformation, how platforms use your data. It's a minefield of ethical questions about responsibility and impact.
Yeah, the sheer amount of data we generate is definitely something to think about. Okay, next up, number 3, intellectual property. What's that?
Intellectual property, or IP, it basically covers creations of the mind. Think inventions, literary works, art, designs, even symbols or names used in business. It's legally protected through things like copyright, patents, and trademarks.
Wow, okay, so that's really broad. It could be anything from the software running my phone to a company's logo.
Exactly. Software code, a novel, a song, a new gadget design, a brand name, all potentially IP. It's crucial in the digital world because so much value is intangible now.
Got it. All right, question 4 asks for a definition of outsourcing.
Outsourcing is pretty straightforward. It's when a company hires an external party, another company or individual, to perform services or create goods that were traditionally done in-house.
So like if my company hires a separate firm to handle all its IT support instead of having its own IT department?
That's a classic example, yes.
Right.
Customer support, manufacturing, software development, lots of things get outsourced.
Okay. Now, question 5 gets into attacks. 2 types of technical attack techniques. The paper lists poison web service attacks and network infrastructure poisoning.
Right. These are a bit more technical.
What does poisoning mean here? It sounds nasty.
It is, in a digital sense. Poisoning here means corrupting something legitimate. Like DNS poisoning tricks your computer into going to a fake website instead of the real one by feeding it bad address information. So poisoned web service attacks might involve sending malicious data to a web service to make it crash or leak information. Network infrastructure poisoning targets the underlying network components, maybe routers or switches, to disrupt traffic or spy on it. It's about corrupting trusted systems or data flows.
Okay. So injecting bad data to mess things up. Got it. Number 6 seems simpler. Define password.
Yep, very fundamental. A password is essentially a secret word or string of characters used for authentication, to prove you are who you say you are, or to get access to something like your email or computer.
It's funny how such a simple idea is still so central to, well, almost everything online security-wise.
Absolutely critical. Which leads nicely into question 7. Define social engineering. Social engineering is basically the art of manipulation. It's using deception to trick people into giving up confidential information like passwords, or performing actions that compromise security, like clicking a malicious link.
Right, so this isn't hacking the computer, it's hacking the person, using psychology instead of code.
Exactly. It plays on trust, urgency, fear, human emotions. Very effective.
Okay, question 8. What is computer forensics?
Computer forensics is a branch of digital forensic science. It focuses specifically on investigating digital devices like computers, hard drives, etc. The goal is to recover and analyze data that can be used as evidence, usually in legal proceedings.
Ah, the evidence in legal proceedings part is key then. Digital detective work for the courts.
Precisely. Okay, number 9, define cyber law. Cyber law is the legal framework that governs everything related to computers, information networks, and the internet. It addresses issues like cybercrime, data protection, intellectual property online, electronic transactions, basically the rules of the road for the digital world.
So it's the body of laws trying to keep up with all this technology and how we use it. Crucial stuff.
Definitely. And finally, for Group A, question 10 asks us about common types of cybercrimes covered under Nepalese cyber law. According to the syllabus, the main framework is the Electronic Transaction Act, or ETA. It covers things like unauthorized access hacking, essentially, computer-related forgery, causing damage to computer systems, and various other offenses related to electronic transactions.
Are those pretty standard types of cybercrime, things you'd see laws addressing globally?
Yes, very much so. Unauthorized access, data damage, fraud. These are core issues cyber laws everywhere tend to tackle, though the specifics might vary.
Okay, that wraps up the quick definitions in Group A. Now on to Group B. Still short answers, but maybe needing a bit more explanation.
Exactly. Group B asks for a bit more depth. Question 11. Discuss the importance of ethics in the business world with an example.
Right. We talked about ethics earlier. How does it apply specifically to businesses?
It's hugely important. Ethics in business is crucial for building trust with customers, employees, investors, everyone. It helps maintain a positive reputation, which is invaluable. And frankly, it supports long-term sustainability. For an example, think about transparency. A company that's open and honest about its products, even if there's an issue, tends to build more consumer trust and loyalty than one that tries to hide things. Ethical behavior pays off.
Yeah, absolutely. Being seen as trustworthy is definitely a competitive advantage. People want to deal with ethical companies.
It really is. Okay, question 12. Why is managing IT worker relationships important?
Relationships between IT workers.
Hmm.
Or with the company.
Both, really. It's about fostering a professional and ethical work environment within the IT department and between IT staff and the rest of the organization. This involves clear codes of conduct, respecting privacy, fair treatment, proper handling of IT resources. Good relationships prevent internal conflicts, reduce the risk of insider threats like disgruntled employees causing damage, and ensure everyone handles sensitive data responsibly.
So it's about the human factor within IT security, too, making sure the people managing the systems are working well together and ethically.
Exactly. The human element again. Now, question 13. What is cyber squatting and what are its motives?
We touched on this slightly. Can you define it again and maybe expand on the motives?
Sure. Cyber squatting is registering, selling, or using a domain name with the bad faith intent to profit from the goodwill of a trademark belonging to someone else. The primary motives are almost always financial. They might register Coca-Cola-drinks.com hoping Coca-Cola will pay a lot to buy it. Or they set up a fake site to trick customers. Sometimes it's even used for extortion. Pay us or we keep this domain that damages your brand.
Extortion. Wow. That's pretty blatant. It really is like holding a digital identity hostage.
It can be. Okay, question 14. What is the current state of cyber forensics in Nepal? The paper describes it as an emerging field in Nepal. The Electronic Transaction Act, ETA, provides the legal basis for seizing and analyzing digital evidence. There are established procedures and labs being developed, but it faces challenges. Things like a lack of specialized training for personnel, sometimes inadequate infrastructure, and the constant need to update legal provisions to keep pace with technology.
Are those challenges training, infrastructure, keeping laws updated common in other developing nations too, as they build up cyber capabilities?
Yes, very common. Building robust cyber forensic capacity takes significant investment in people, tools, and legal frameworks. It's an ongoing process everywhere, but particularly challenging when resources are limited.
Right. Okay, question 15. Why is ensuring software quality important?
Oh, this is critical. Software quality directly impacts reliability, security, and usability. High-quality software has fewer bugs and vulnerabilities. Fewer vulnerabilities mean a lower risk of data breaches or system failures. Think about a banking app if it has poor quality. Bugs could lead to incorrect transactions, security holes could allow theft. The consequences can be severe. Good quality also means better user satisfaction and lower long-term maintenance costs.
So good software quality is like a safety net. It protects users, protects data, and makes the software actually work properly.
Exactly, it's fundamental. Finally, for Group B, question 16, explain any three intellectual property issues.
Okay, we defined IP. What are some common issues related to it?
The paper suggests focusing on three. First, plagiarism. This is using someone else's work, like their code, writing, or design, without giving them proper credit or permission. It's a major ethical breach and often a copyright violation. Second, reverse engineering. This means taking apart a product or system to understand how it works. Now, this can be legitimate, like for interoperability, but it becomes an ethical and legal issue if it's done to, say, illegally copy patented technology or steal trade secrets for a competitive advantage. And third, trademark infringement. This is using a trademark, a brand name, logo, slogan that's identical or confusingly similar to someone else's registered trademark in a way that could confuse consumers about the source of goods or services. It damages the original brand and can lead to legal trouble.
That reverse engineering one is interesting. So it's okay sometimes, but crosses a line if you're basically using it to steal someone else's ideas.
Precisely. The intent and the method matter a lot. Are you learning from it or just copying it unfairly? That's often the ethical and legal dividing line.
Okay, that covers Group B. Now, Group C gets into long answer questions. These probably need more detailed explanations.
They do. They often ask about implications and roles. Question 17 is about the role of whistleblowing in promoting ethical practices.
Whistleblowing. That's when an employee reports wrongdoing, right? How does
Right.
that promote ethics?
Exactly. Whistleblowing plays several significant roles. First, deterrence. Knowing employees might report misconduct can deter others from unethical behavior. Second, accountability. It forces organizations to address problems they might prefer to ignore. Third, transparency. It can bring hidden issues out into the open. And fourth, sometimes public safety. Whistleblowers can be the last line of defense against practices that harm the public.
It takes a lot of courage to be a whistleblower, but it sounds incredibly important for holding organizations accountable and, yeah, protecting the public sometimes.
It really is. Okay, question 18. Discuss different types of cyber attackers based on hat color.
Ah, the classic black hat, white hat. Are there others?
Yes. The main three are black hats. These are the malicious actors. They hack for criminal gain, disruption, espionage. They use malware, phishing, exploit vulnerabilities without permission, purely criminal intent. White hats, these are the good guys. Ethical hackers or security researchers. They have permission from the organization to test its defenses, find vulnerabilities, and help fix them. Think penetration testers. Their goal is to improve security. And then there are gray hats. They fall somewhere in between. They might hack into systems without permission, like a black hat, but their intent isn't necessarily malicious. They might do it to expose a vulnerability publicly, perhaps hoping to force a fix, or maybe just for the challenge. Their actions are legally and ethically ambiguous.
Gray hats, sort of like digital vigilantes, maybe? Operating outside the rules, but not always for bad reasons.
That's one way to think about it, yeah. Their methods are often illegal, but their motives might not be purely criminal, unlike black hats. It's a complex area.
Interesting distinction. Okay, question 19 asks about the current state of cyber law in Nepal again, but maybe more broadly.
Yes, this revisits it, but asks for a bit more context. Again, the primary law is the Electronic Transaction Act, ETA, from 2063 BS, which is 2008 AD. It criminalizes acts like unauthorized access, hacking, creating or distributing viruses, computer-related forgery, publishing illegal material electronically, and things like that. So the legal framework exists. However, like we mentioned with forensics, implementation and enforcement face challenges. Technology moves so fast, keeping the law effective and ensuring authorities have the resources and training to enforce it is a constant battle. Continuous updates are needed.
Right. The law might exist, but actually applying it effectively in this super fast-changing digital world, that must be the real challenge.
It absolutely is, for any country. Now, question 20 is a practical one. Evaluate your current cybersecurity posture for your home computer and mobile devices.
This is where the listener really needs to pay attention. It's like a personal security checkup.
Exactly. It asks you to evaluate your setup. Think about it. For your home computer, is the operating system up to date? Are applications updated? Do you have good antivirus Sentinelware software running and updated? Is your firewall on? How strong are your passwords? Do you use unique ones? Do you use two-factor authentication, 2FA? Do you back up your important data regularly? For your mobile devices, is the OS updated? Do you check app permissions? Does that game really need access to your microphone? Do you use a strong passcode or biometrics? How careful are you on public Wi-Fi? Do you use a VPN? Are you aware of phishing scams via text or email?
That's a fantastic checklist. Seriously, everyone listening should probably pause and actually run through that for their own devices right now. Very actionable advice.
It's meant to be. Personal cybersecurity starts with these fundamental checks.
Okay, that's Group C. Now for the last section, Group D, comprehensive answer questions. These sound like they'll tie multiple ideas together.
They do. They require a more detailed understanding of how different concepts connect. Question 21 asks about the effects and types of cyber terrorism and strategies for countering it.
Cyber terrorism, that sounds serious.
Yeah,
What kind of effects are we talking about?
We're talking potentially devastating effects. Disruption of critical infrastructure, power grids, water systems, financial networks. This could lead to loss of life, major economic disruption, erosion of public trust, physical damage. It's a significant national security threat. The types can include infrastructure attacks targeting those critical systems, data theft and espionage to steal sensitive government or corporate secrets, and propaganda and psychological warfare using online platforms to spread fear, incite violence, or destabilize society.
Wow, the scale of potential impact is huge. So how do you even begin to counter that?
It requires a multi-layered approach. Key strategies include a comprehensive national cybersecurity strategy, specific critical infrastructure protection plans, international cooperation, because these threats often cross borders, public cybersecurity awareness and training, proactive defense measures like threat hunting, and strong legislation with clear penalties. It takes a whole-of-nation effort.
A massive coordinated effort. Okay, the final question, number 22. Explain the differences between mobile and computer forensics and describe the stages of digital forensics.
All right, so we know what computer forensics is. How is mobile forensics different? Several key differences. Data storage. Mobiles use flash memory, SIM cards, memory cards, and rely heavily on cloud storage, unlike traditional computer hard drives. Operating systems. Mobile OSs, iOS, Android, are very different from Windows or Mac OS, requiring specialized tools. Data types. Mobiles have unique data like SMS, MMS messages, call logs, GPS location data, app-specific data that computers don't. Physical security. Mobiles often have biometric locks or passcodes that need bypassing. Connectivity. Mobiles are almost always connected via cellular or Wi-Fi, which affects evidence preservation and potential remote access.
So different hardware, different software, different types of data. You need specialized tools and techniques for phones compared to laptops.
Exactly. Now, for the second part, the stages of digital forensics. We touched on this, but let's formalize it. There are generally 4 key stages. 1, collection acquisition. This is identifying, collecting, and preserving the digital evidence, making that forensic image, documenting the scene, maintaining the chain of custody. 2, examination analysis. Using forensic tools to analyze the collected data, searching for keywords, looking at metadata, recovering deleted files, establishing timelines. This is the main investigation phase. 3, reporting. Documenting all the findings in a clear, comprehensive report. It needs to detail the methods used, the tools, a summary of findings, and explain the evidence's significance. 4, presentation. Presenting the findings, often in court or to management. This involves explaining complex technical details in an understandable way.
Collection, examination, reporting, presentation. It sounds incredibly thorough. Like you said, digital detective work following a very strict process. Fascinating stuff.
It has to be meticulous to ensure the findings are reliable and admissible.
Okay, that brings us to the end of Set A. Should we quickly run through Set B as well? It looks like there might be some overlap, but also some new angles.
Yes, let's do that. Set B also starts with Group A, brief, answer questions. Some will sound familiar, reinforcing key ideas, but there are new terms too.
Great, let's keep the momentum going. Question 1 in Set B, Group A. What is corporate social responsibility, CSR?
CSR, or corporate social responsibility, is basically a business approach where companies aim to contribute to sustainable development. This means considering the economic, social, and environmental impact of their actions on all stakeholders, customers, employees, communities, the environment.
Can you give a quick example, like a company deciding to use renewable energy or donate to local charities?
Exactly. Things like reducing carbon footprint, ensuring fair labor practices in their supply chain, ethical sourcing of materials, community engagement. Those are all examples of CSR in action.
Okay. Question 2. What is the role of professionalism in IT?
Professionalism in IT involves adhering to a code of conduct, maintaining competence in your field, respecting confidentiality and privacy, and using IT resources ethically and responsibly. It's crucial for building trust with colleagues, employers, and users, especially when dealing with sensitive data or critical systems.
Right. It's about being reliable and trustworthy, which is paramount when you have the keys to the digital kingdom, so to speak.
Well put. Okay, question 3. Differentiate between copyright and patents.
Ah, IP again. These two often get confused. What's the core difference?
Copyright protects the original expression of an idea, like the specific words in a book, the notes in a song, or the lines of code in software.
Hmm.
It's usually automatic once the work is created in a tangible form. Patents protect an invention or a new process, like a new type of engine, a pharmaceutical drug, or a novel algorithm. You have to formally apply for a patent, and it grants exclusive rights to use, sell, and make the invention for a limited time.
So copyright is for the expression, patent is for the invention itself. Like, the lyrics of a song are copyrighted, but a new type of microphone used to record it might be patented.
Perfect example. That's the core distinction.
Got it. Question 4. What is the main ethical concern in using contingent workers?
Contingent workers, freelancers, contractors, temps. The main ethical concern often revolves around fairness and equity. They might be treated differently from full-time employees, potentially receiving lower pay, fewer benefits like health insurance or retirement plans, and having much less job security. This raises questions about exploitation and whether they're being treated fairly compared to permanent staff doing similar work.
Yeah, that fairness aspect seems key, ensuring they aren't just seen as disposable resources without proper rights or compensation.
Exactly. Question 5. Who are white hat hackers?
We covered this with the hat colors, but just to recap.
Yep. White hat hackers are ethical security professionals. They use their hacking skills for good, with explicit permission from an organization to test and improve its security systems. They're often called penetration testers or ethical hackers. They're the defenders.
The good guys, trying to find the holes before the bad guys do. Simple enough. Question 6. Why is physical security important in cybersecurity?
Another recap, but crucial. Physical security is the first line of defense. If someone can physically access your servers or devices, they can often bypass digital security measures entirely. It protects against theft, unauthorized access, tampering, and hardware damage.
Right. Doesn't matter how good your password is if someone can just walk out the door with the server.
Precisely. Question 7. How can social engineering attacks be prevented?
Since it targets people, how do you stop it?
Prevention is multi-layered. Key methods include employee training and awareness programs making people skeptical and cautious, implementing strong authentication measures like two-factor authentication, 2FA, make stolen passwords less useful, establishing clear policies and procedures for handling sensitive information requests. We never ask for your password via email. Verification steps are key.
So, training people to be suspicious, using better tech like 2FA, and having clear rules. Human vigilance is critical.
Absolutely. Question 8. What is the role of digital evidence? The role of digital evidence is to provide factual, verifiable information extracted from digital devices. This information can be used to prove or disprove facts in a legal case or an internal investigation. Crucially, it must be collected, preserved, and analyzed in a forensically sound manner to be considered reliable and admissible in court.
That forensically sound manner part sounds important. What does that really mean? Ensuring it wasn't tampered with.
Essentially, yes. It means using methods and tools that don't alter the original evidence, meticulously documenting every step, the chain of custody, and ensuring the process is repeatable and verifiable. It guarantees the integrity of the evidence.
Okay. Question 9. What is the purpose of the Electronic Transactions Act, ETA, in Nepal?
Its main purpose is twofold. First, to provide the legal framework that gives validity, enforceability, and legal recognition to electronic transactions, records, and signatures, basically making e-commerce and digital documents legally real. Second, to define and establish punishments for cybercrimes, providing the legal basis to prosecute offenders.
So it enables modern digital life while also trying to police it. Makes sense. And question 10, the last one for set B, Group A, define whistleblowing.
We discussed its role earlier. The definition is the act of an employee or member of an organization revealing information about illegal, unethical, or fraudulent activities happening within that organization. They typically report it either internally to higher authorities or externally to regulators, law enforcement, or the media.
Right, connecting back to that broader ethical framework we talked about. Okay, on to set B, Group B, slightly longer, short answers again.
Correct. Question 11 asks us again to define ethics and explain its importance in the business world. A bit of repetition, but reinforcement is good.
So quick recap, ethics are, and why do businesses need them?
Ethics are those moral principles guiding behavior. In business, they're vital for building trust with customers, employees, the public. An ethical reputation attracts talent, retains customers, and ensures long-term sustainability because business makes responsible decisions. It's not just about compliance, it's about building a solid foundation.
Right, it's about the long game, not just short-term profits. Building that trust pays off over time.
Exactly. Question 12. How can organizations encourage the ethical use of IT resources among users?
How do you get employees to actually use the company computers and networks ethically?
Several ways. Develop a clear, acceptable use policy, AUP, that spells out the rules. Provide regular training on things like data privacy, security best practices, and ethical expectations. Enforce consequences fairly and consistently when rules are broken. And importantly, lead by example management needs to demonstrate ethical behavior themselves.
So clear rules, education, consequences, and good role models. It's about creating an ethical culture, really.
That's the goal.
Okay.
Okay, question 13. What are trade secrets and how do they help businesses? Trade secrets are confidential information that gives a business a competitive edge. Think formulas, practices, designs, customer lists, anything valuable that isn't generally known or easily discoverable. Unlike patents, they aren't registered publicly. Their protection relies on keeping them secret. They help businesses by providing a unique advantage in the market. Because they aren't public like patents, they can potentially last forever as long as they remain secret. They also save the cost and time of patent applications.
Is the classic example like the secret formula for Coca-Cola? That's a trade secret, right?
Exactly. It's probably the most famous example. It's protected by secrecy, not a patent.
Cool. Question 14. Explain the concept of building trust in social engineering attacks.
This is key to why social engineering works. Building trust or establishing rapport is fundamental. Attackers do this in several ways. They might pose as a trusted authority, like someone from IT support or a senior manager. They use emotional manipulation, creating a sense of urgency, your account will be locked, fear, or even empathy, I need your help. They often perform reconnaissance, gathering details about the target or organization to make their story sound more believable.
It's pretty insidious. They pretend to be helpful or legitimate to lower your guard, then strike. Manipulating trust is nasty.
It really is. Okay, question 15. What is the role of economic model shifts in cybersecurity development?
Economic shifts, like how businesses operate, how does that affect cybersecurity?
Big shifts, like the move to cloud computing, widespread outsourcing, or the rise of the gig economy, create new security challenges. They expand the potential attack surface more systems outside the traditional company network. They introduce third-party risks. Data might be scattered across different locations or providers. Cybersecurity has had to evolve in response. We see the development of things like cloud security posture management, CSPM, better vendor risk management tools, and security models like zero-trust architecture, which assumes no user or device is trusted by default.
How much did the massive shift to remote work during the pandemic accelerate all this? Suddenly, everyone was outside the office network.
Hugely. It forced organizations to rapidly adopt and secure remote access technologies, accelerate cloud migration, and rethink their entire security perimeter. It was a massive catalyst for change in cybersecurity practices.
Makes sense. Okay, last one for Group B. Question 16. How can IoT devices pose security risks in personal cybersecurity?
IoT, the Internet of Things. Smart speakers, thermostats, cameras, even refrigerators. How are they risky? They often have weak security by default, simple passwords, unencrypted communication. They aren't always updated regularly, leaving known vulnerabilities open. And crucially, they can act as a gateway into your home network. An attacker might compromise your smart light bulb, then use that foothold to access your laptop or other sensitive devices on the same Wi-Fi network.
So these seemingly harmless gadgets can be a backdoor into your digital life. The hidden dangers of convenience.
That's a good way to put it. They definitely require careful setup and management.
Okay, moving on to Set B. Group C long answers again. Broader ethical and legal topics, I assume.
Yes. Question 17. Define social engineering and explain why it is a major cybersecurity threat.
We've defined it a couple of times. Why is it considered such a major threat?
Right. Definition recap. Manipulating people to breach security. It's a major threat because, 1, it targets the weakest link, humans. People make mistakes, trust too easily, or react emotionally. 2, it often bypasses technical controls. The best firewall means nothing if an employee willingly gives away credentials. 3, it can be hard to detect. Attacks might look like normal communication. 4, it's incredibly versatile, phishing emails, vishing phone calls, baiting with USB drives, even in-person impersonation.
That first point really stands out. Targeting humans bypasses billions spent on tech defenses. We're often the biggest vulnerability.
Unfortunately, yes. That's why awareness training is so vital.
Yeah.
Okay, question 18. How can organizations incorporate green computing practices into their software development lifecycle, SDLC?
Green computing.
Yeah.
Making IT more environmentally friendly. How does that apply to writing software?
It applies throughout the lifecycle. You can write efficient code optimizing algorithms so they use less processing power and therefore less energy. Use sustainable infrastructure, like moving to energy-efficient cloud providers or virtualizing servers to reduce physical hardware needs. Practice lifecycle management by designing software that requires fewer hardware upgrades. Choose green data centers powered by renewable energy. Even user interface design can play a role. Things like dark mode on OLED screens can save power.
Wow, it's quite holistic then. From the actual code written to the data centers running it, even the UI. Lots of places to be greener.
Definitely. Question 19. Describe the legal perspective of cybercrime in Nepal and the significance of the Electronic Transactions Act, ETA.
We keep coming back to the ETA. What's its overall significance from a legal perspective?
From a legal standpoint, the ETA is foundational. It officially criminalizes specific cyber acts: unauthorized access, computer-related forgery, publishing illegal content online, damage to computer systems, etc. Its significance lies in providing the first comprehensive legal basis for a digital society in Nepal. It validated electronic documents and signatures, enabling e-governance and e-commerce, and it established the initial framework to actually investigate and prosecute cybercrimes. It was a landmark piece of legislation.
So it really laid the groundwork for Nepal's digital transition, legally speaking. But keeping it relevant must be tough, as we discussed.
Extremely tough. Technology evolves much faster than legislators can typically react, so ensuring laws remain fit for purpose against new types of cyber threats is a constant global challenge.
Right. Okay, question 20. Explain trademark infringement and cyber squatting and how they impact businesses and consumers.
Two distinct but related issues attacking brand identity online. Trademark infringement is the unauthorized use of a trademark, or a confusingly similar one, in a way that's likely to cause confusion about the source of goods or services. For businesses, the impact is brand dilution, loss of revenue to counterfeiters or confused customers, and damage to reputation. For consumers, it means confusion, potentially buying fake or substandard products, scams, and a loss of trust. Cyber squatting, as we defined, is registering a domain name similar to a trademark to profit from it. For businesses, it means potential brand hijacking, financial costs from extortion or legal battles, and loss of online presence or traffic. For consumers, they can be misled to fraudulent websites, have their data stolen, or simply be unable to find a legitimate business online easily.
So both really erode trust and cause direct financial harm, just through slightly different mechanisms targeting brand identity online.
Precisely. Both undermine the integrity of online commerce and branding.
Okay, that brings us to the final group, Set B, Group D, the comprehensive questions, ready to synthesize.
Let's tackle them. Question 21 is a big one. How do intellectual property, IP laws, and cybersecurity regulations work together to prevent cybercrime and protect digital assets? Also, discuss key methods used in collecting, seizing, and protecting digital evidence and the challenges faced.
Wow, okay. IP law meets cybersecurity meets digital forensics. How do they work together?
They have a synergistic relationship. IP laws define what valuable digital assets are: source code, proprietary data, digital content. Cybersecurity regulations then mandate how those assets should be protected through technical controls, policies, access management. Together, they create a stronger legal basis for fighting cybercrime. For instance, unauthorized access, a cybercrime combined with theft of source code and IP violation, leads to stronger penalties. They also provide sanctions for non-compliance, cybersecurity regs, and remedies for infringement, IP laws, acting as deterrents.
So one defines the asset, the other mandates protection, and together they strengthen legal action against theft or misuse. Make sense? Now the forensics part, methods for collecting, seizing, protecting evidence.
Right. Key methods include collection acquisition, primarily creating that bit-by-bit forensic image using validated tools like ENCASE FTK Imager without altering the original data source. Document everything. Seizing. This usually requires legal authorization, like a warrant. The process must be meticulous, following legal protocols and documenting the chain of custody from the start. Who found it, where, when, who handled it. Protecting. This involves preventing evidence tampering, using Faraday bags for mobile devices to block signals, storing evidence securely, Maintaining that unbroken, documented chain of custody is paramount.
And the challenges in doing all that?
Numerous challenges. The sheer volume of data on modern devices is immense. Encryption makes accessing data very difficult. Cloud data presents jurisdictional and access issues. Anti-forensics techniques are used by criminals to deliberately hide, alter, or destroy evidence. And ensuring legal admissibility requires strict adherence to constantly evolving protocols and legal standards.
It really sounds like an intricate dance between technology, legal frameworks, and meticulous procedure.
It absolutely is. Okay, final question, number 22. Discuss various risks that cybersecurity mitigates. Then, evaluate the risks involved in outsourcing IT functions and recommend mitigation strategies.
All right, first part. What risks does cybersecurity help reduce?
Cybersecurity aims to mitigate a wide range of risks, including data breaches and theft, customer data, intellectual property, malware and ransomware infections that can cripple operations, financial fraud, phishing, business email compromise, reputational damage following a breach, operational disruptions, denial of service attacks, and legal and regulatory non-compliance penalties, essentially protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information in systems.
Okay, a broad shield against many digital dangers. Now, the second part, evaluating risks in outsourcing IT and how to mitigate them. We touched on this, but maybe more formally.
Yes, let's structure it. Evaluation of risks in outsourcing. You face third-party vulnerabilities. Your vendor gets breached. Lack of direct control over your system's data. Potential data residency jurisdiction issues. Insider threats from the vendor's employees. And supply chain attacks where the vendor is used as an entry point to your network. Recommended mitigation strategies. Start with thorough vendor due diligence. Check their security practices, audits, certifications before signing. Implement strict contractual clauses covering security standards, audit rights, incident response roles, and liability. Conduct regular audits and monitoring of the vendor's performance and security. Use data encryption, ideally where you control the keys. Enforce strict access control based on the principle of least privilege. And develop a joint incident response plan so everyone knows what to do if a breach occurs involving the vendor.
That's critical advice for any business looking at outsourcing. It's not just about saving money. You have to actively manage the security risk you're taking on. Security becomes a shared responsibility.
Absolutely. You can outsource the function, but you can't fully outsource the risk or the responsibility.
Well, that covers the entire exam paper, sets A and B. We've gone through an incredible amount today, from defining basic terms like ethics and law, all the way to complex strategies for countering cyber terrorism and managing outsourcing risks. I hope for you listening, this deep dive, this sort of guided review, has really helped connect the dots between all these different concepts in ICT ethics and cyber law. Seeing how they link together is key to truly understanding them.
It really is. And perhaps a final thought to leave you with. As technology continues to reshape our world, the line between what is ethical, what is legal, and what is secure constantly shifts. Your ability to think critically about these evolving challenges, not just memorizing answers, but understanding the underlying principles and their practical implications, will be your strongest defense in the digital age.
That's a powerful takeaway. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into ICT ethics and cyber law. We hope this session leaves you feeling more informed and empowered. Maybe take a few minutes now to run through that personal cybersecurity checklist we discussed, or look up the privacy policy of an app you use often. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and stay safe out there.